So good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about embracing the new normal at work. And on today's agenda, we're going to be looking at embracing the pros and cons of this new normal that we are now living at work. I'm going to do a little bit of a recap on the staying healthy while working from home tips that we shared a couple of years ago. And we're going to look at overcoming the challenges of working from home and hopefully give you some ideas on how to stay more connected while working from home. And I'm going to finish off with just a reminder about the self-care practices that we hope that you're doing for yourself on a daily basis to stay well. So the comparison between office-based work and home-based work is outlined in this graphic, and I can attest to the difference for each because I did work from home 100% for about a year when I was working for my previous position, which was with One Call, One Click and the Kids Come First. And I've been back on site now since April the 4th. And so I've benefited from both the pros and cons on each side. And I think that if you talk to different people, there are in fact pros and cons to each side. For example, what I found personally for myself was that working from home, I felt a lot more isolated, and I really missed the contact that I had in person when I was coming to CHEO. That was a huge point for me that was difficult. And coming to work now, what I'm noticing is that the costs are higher, right? Because the gas prices are higher. So there is a lot of factors that come into play. So the parking that I'm having to pay and the commute, the different things. So I'm going to launch a poll here for the people that are on the call. I'd like to know from those that are here today, if you're working from home 100%, or if you're doing a hybrid model, or if you're on site 100%. So, okay. So on the call today, we have most of you, I guess, 70% of us are doing a hybrid model and 3 are doing 100% from home. So feel free to share any of the, if you have some of the pros. I want to kind of be focusing on the positives in this presentation today. So focusing on the pros of each side, because it is what it is, right? It's our new normal, and this is what we have to live, and we're all in this together, so we have to make the most of our situations on a day-to-day basis. So the 10 tips that we shared in the Staying Healthy While Working From Home presentation for making sure that you stay on course or on track was about structuring your days. So even though you were working from home, it was still important to have structure to your day. So keeping the same work hours, you may not have to wake up as early because you don't have the commute time, but it was important to sort of define a start time for your day, and then sticking to your morning routine. So kind of having that transition from, you're waking up and you used to drive to work, and if you're at home, what do you do to transition yourself from just being at home to work mode? So it was important to kind of outline a kind of practice for yourself, making sure that you had a really designated workspace that was separate from your personal home life, if possible. And I know that's been challenging for some people because depending on, what you have available in your home in terms of space, but it's important to be able to sort of walk away or close the door if you can to your office when you're done work. One of the things that I also found challenging while working from home was making sure that I was taking my breaks and lunch. So when you're working from home, you don't have the same practices that you do when you're working on site, where you can, instead of delivering or putting something in an inter-office mail, you can go and deliver it to your colleague, or you can go for a walk to the cafeteria or whatnot. When you're at home, you're basically walking from your office space, whatever that may be in your own situation, to the bathroom and to the kitchen. So very different. Eating healthy is important. obviously, to keep your energy up. And I think one of the things that I've heard from people who have been working from home, and me included, is that sometimes the disadvantages that we're close to the fridge, so we're eating a little bit more than we used to. But it's important to try to keep structure to your eating patterns and even preparing your stuff ahead of time. We'll talk about that a little bit later. And really important to reach out and stay connected. And again, some of these points we'll be talking about in the presentation because they came up as the challenges of working from home. Making sure to set a time to reset and refresh. So, that this comes in line, both of these, set a stop time for your work day. So the new disconnect from work policy. So it's really important, I guess, with people working from home, how it's been difficult sometimes to kind of shift off work time. Keeping a consistent sleep schedule is also important, goes with your structuring of your day. And last but not least is about showing yourself some compassion and not being too hard on yourself. I'm just reading one of the comments from my Nick. Yes, there are distractions at home that are different from at work for sure. So I'm going to launch another poll here. So this was from Better Up. It's some statistics in terms of what the biggest struggle was with working remotely. And I'm wondering if you can do a vote in terms of what the participants here feel have been your biggest struggle with relative to working from home. All right. So the collaboration, loneliness, not being able to unplug, and distractions are some of the ones that are coming up for us here today. So we will be talking to some of those points in the presentation. One of the challenges is about the communication and collaboration. So I think I would like to acknowledge and give kudos to Alex Munter for his frequent town halls and weekly messages. I think that's been super helpful to have that messaging on a consistent basis. It's being prepared to adapt quickly has been a huge thing, because depending on what's happening with your technology, sometimes you have to shift gears depending on, if you're having trouble connecting one day, or if one platform is not working and you have to switch to another. So it's a matter of thinking quickly on your feet. Ensuring regular team check-ins. I think most of the teams are doing this, but more than just a team check-in, I think it's also fun to ensure that you're including some social fun things to do with your team on a, maybe even once a month, to try to plan some social things to make your team still feel connected in some way. And now that the restrictions are lifting a little bit, there may be opportunities for teams to gather somehow, outside, to do maybe a social activity together to really have that communication and collaboration. I think it's really important what they're saying here in terms of visual communication. Like when we get emails with tons and tons of text, it just gets too long to read, and most people just end up putting it aside because it's too much text to read. Having clear deadlines and expectations for your teams is really important. I'm just going to read this chat here. Yes. Yeah, simple virtual coffee dates. So one of the things that I was going to talk about a little bit later is even a thought that I had. We have the water cooler on CHEOnet, and I was thinking, it would be cool to have like a virtual kind of water cooler where we could get together on a regular basis, or even like a wellness check-in, something that I'm going to maybe look at doing at some point. And setting up communication guidelines and trusting your staff and coworkers. So one of the things I think, working from home, the supervision is not the same, but I think, you can trust your staff and coworkers if they're meeting their deadlines, if they're, giving you the output that's expected. It's really important to have that trust with your staff. Now, a lot of staff have been onboarded during the pandemic, and I was curious to kind of see how how people have been doing that. And I've been doing some reading with some articles, and there's some neat ideas with regards to creating a welcome package. So I think one of the biggest things when we used to onboard in person, the thing that hits you most when you come to CHEO is the culture and the people. And so people that have been onboarded that don't have that experience, we need to find ways to sort of engage and maybe, prepare some kind of tangible welcome package, because we do send emails and everything comes through email for HR and the forms and whatnot. But it would be really fun to think about ideas to sort of onboard someone and have some type of welcome package. The points that are talked to in this is obviously creating a plan and having a designated point person, maybe a buddy who would kind of shadow with this new person to sort of make sure that they're introduced to the right people, and sharing tools with them and introducing them to the culture early. So with the orientation, and also about sharing with the resources and the social things that are available through CHEO as well. And then the loneliness piece is the one that is huge, I think, for a lot of people. I know I felt that I was at home alone and I didn't have kids at home. I know that some people working from home have kids and a lot of interruptions, especially when the schools were closed, and so we're sort of having to be teachers plus trying to work. So big hats off to those parents who've had to deal with that. It's a huge factor that impacts your work so much. Gabrielle, it's nice. Are you still coming on site regularly or just every now and again? I love seeing people on site. It's just amazing. And we need to find more ways to engage people that are off site to sort of meet some of the new people as well. So this is great when people have their videos on, because it's great to see people. So just for avoiding feeling lonely, be proactive and reach out to your coworkers. Stay in touch with them. And, Teams is a great feature. I think we use it lots throughout the day for chat, because we used to do the chit chat in person. Well, you have Teams that can be kind of a quick way to chat with someone to check in. Even, Teams has some great features where you can, send someone a little GIF or a little like kudos or something. There's great features that you can use just to sort of do that check-in, that hallway talk that you don't get to do in person, you can kind of do through Teams. This was a point that I kind of thought was neat, where you work outside of the house once a week if you're having to work from home 100%. And this would be like going to either a library, or now that the weather's nicer, maybe working outside on your deck if you can, just getting out of that space that you're always in, especially when we have the nicer weather, because our summers seem shorter and shorter every year. Staying focused on your goals in terms of, avoiding feeling lonely. So when you're focused on your work during work and being focused, getting outside on your lunch break. So get outside of the house when you're taking a break. I know I'm blessed at home to have a window with my office, but it's still good to get outside and get that fresh air, get moving. And make plans for after work. So if you're working from home, one of the things that you need to do is get out of the house and make plans away from the house, so that you're not feeling like all you do is live in that house, work in that house. And it gets to be very discouraging if you're not making those plans for alternative actions after. And then again, about the new policy that came out with regards to disconnecting from work. So it's important to set boundaries for your specific working hours, and making sure that you're keeping yourself accountable and letting your team know when you are available, so that they know when they can reach you, what hours you're working. And there is some flexibility, so that if you have appointments, you can kind of split things up. But of course, you have to make sure that you're keeping your team informed with what you're doing in terms of changes to your schedule. Now, the distractions at home. So having a designated workspace, like I said earlier, is super important. So this photo here is not a designated workspace, and for sure a lot of distractions going on here. Sticking to your regular work schedule again, Putting yourself in do not disturb mode. So if you have a space with a door, then close the door so people know that you are working, and it's kind of like your office space. So just you can even have a sign if you have kids. Summer's coming up, so kids are off, and it's not my situation because all my kids are grown up and gone, but for others, it is a reality for them. Plan and prepare your meals ahead of time. So it's the same as packing your lunch for work, so that you're not distracted in the sense that you go into the kitchen and you're like starting from scratch to make something. Make sure that you have things handy and prepared so that you're doing your lunch and your break for that limited time. Turning off your phone notifications. This is something that I do as a regular practice on a daily basis. I have my phone on silent all the time. People know that if they need to reach me, I will get back to them when I'm on a break or after work. Setting timers. So the timers for me, what I think is important when you're working from home is setting a timer to move. So if you have a device like a Fitbit or something to make sure that you're moving every hour for a little bit, to give your eyes a break, to give your body a stretch. It's super important that you maintain that, that break time that you need. Staying motivated working from home can sometimes be difficult as well. So managing your time, making a routine, decluttering your office. So I just did this week. I have a practice that I had at work where my desk was always clean at the end of the day, but being at home, it was a little bit different. So I said to myself, you know, the practice that I had at work was great because when you leave your office space and it's clean and clear, and it should be, because if you're working from home and you have confidential things should get locked up or put away when you're done work. So making sure that your office space is nice and decluttered is great. Of course, again, taking your regular breaks, rewarding yourself. So if you have a deadline to meet and there's something that you want to get done, set yourself up with a little reward. So maybe if you get this project done, or you know, before lunch, you treat yourself to go for a ride to the coffee shop and have a little break and you know, do something to get out. And dressing up for work. Who here still works in their pajamas? So it's really important to make sure that you do that shift and change into some clothes. It doesn't have to be fancy office clothes because there is no dress code when you work from home, but it is a mindset principle in terms of making sure that you're changed and in work mode to get yourself motivated to work. And of course, exercising and working out is super important to keep that energy level up. For me, what I find is when I take a break and I go for a walk, I do a lot of thinking, and I'll go back to my desk and say, oh yeah, I forgot that I needed to do this or that. So I come back, I feel more refreshed, and I'm way more productive in the afternoon when I take that break at lunch. Oops. Taking your vacation. So we're nearing that time of year that we need to take vacation. I hope that you're not one of those staff that, you know, tucks it away and then doesn't take it. It's so important to take your vacation. One, because you'll be less likely to get sick, because if you're stressed out, your immune system is low. So if you take your breaks when you should in terms of vacation time, taking like a real break and making sure you really disconnect when you're taking that vacation time. Put your out of office on, you know, and if you have your phone connected to your work email, just try to, I don't know, put that icon or that app somewhere where you won't see it on a daily basis, and just forget about work when you're taking your vacation. And even just planning a trip can make you feel happier. So when you have kind of an intention on a trip and planning the details, that will lift your spirits as well. The long weekends might even improve the economy. So with the gas prices, sometimes it doesn't, you know, the staycation tax credit is something that you can take advantage of. And if you don't know about that, it's basically if you're traveling anywhere, I think it's just for Ontario, but when you're traveling and if you're staying somewhere like a bed and breakfast or a hotel room, you can save your receipts and you can claim some of those on your taxes and get some money back. I forget what the percentage is, but I can include that link in the presentation when I share it. And obviously by taking your vacation, you might ward off depression because you're, again, you know, taking a break from stress, giving yourself some downtime, and then the travel travel makes you more self-aware, and it allows you to rekindle some of your relationships. So, you know, when we're busy at work, we don't have time to connect maybe with family and friends. So take the time to book your vacation, take your vacation, and reconnect with the people outside of your work. So the resources on CHEOnet that I wanted to share with all of you, thanks to Marie Bélanger, who did a great job here. She included an icon. So this is on the main CHEOnet page, and down below, there's these main squares. And so when you click on the wellness for everyone at CHEO, it brings you to all of the wellness resources that are available. And these are the ones that are more related to the things that I'm involved with, with occupational health and wellness. So, so there's the department, the wellness room, and I have a slide for each of these to speak to them a little bit more. So for those of you who don't know, occupational health and wellness's mandate is to assist in the prevention and management of injury or illness in the workplace. We also offer support to staff, medical staff, and learners. And our drop-in hours have changed. They're from 8 to 11:30 and 12:30 to 3 p.m. Monday to Friday. And so I just wanted to differentiate. So OC Health and Wellness and safety is now separate. So there's a different department for the safety component of it. So just if you weren't aware that that's a change that's been implemented very recently. So the branding that you'll see in some of these slides is something that I've been working on to try to upgrade our branding. So the wellness activities and events, I don't know if any of you here are participating in the June Stay Well Challenge. It ends next week. It's one that's been running for the entire month, and it was basically a reminder for you to do some wellness for yourself every day. And I plugged in some links and resources, and anyone who submits the calendar, whether it's filled in at 100% or not, I want to see that you tried to do some wellness for yourself. Your name will go into a draw to win one of 2 baskets that were provided to us by Nature's Way in Kentville, and it was sponsored by Staff Forum. And then we have our Fit for the Front Lines guys coming back to do an 80s theme workout on June 28th. We've planned the outdoor yoga. Unfortunately, the first 2 classes were canceled because the instructors had some personal reasons to have to cancel. So hopefully the next one will be a go. I believe it's on the 29th with Dr. Melanie Bouchard providing it. So that's one of the things that I guess I'm looking at the bottom where it says got a suggestion. So we're trying to figure out ways to engage people in various ways. So some of the stuff will be done on site, but some of it will be virtual so that we can reach the people that are working from home. So if you have ideas on things that we can do, please feel free to email me at cheo@cheo.on.ca. The ongoing wellness activities and the one song break dance break challenge is one that I encourage you guys to even add to your team meetings, maybe once a month, just kind of even surprise your team and say, okay, let's do a 1 song break and put on a song and get everyone up and moving. And then I created a document that has links to some of the favorite workouts that people enjoy, and they're free ones through YouTube and whatnot. Sorry, I skipped the slide. And those who are on site, I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's the wellness room. It's next to the human resources window, and it's basically a space where staff can kind of go and just relax. It's not meant for sleep or anything, but it's a place for you to relax. There's some great books, and it's a place to even meditate, but it's not to sleep. And it's very well used, I think. And I don't know if everyone on this call here receives the Wellness Wednesday newsletter. So I did post it on CHEOnet. So the links to all the previous newsletters are there and available. And it goes out every week to all the staff. And it's something that I started when the pandemic started, before I came into this role. And it's something that I love to do every morning. People ask me if I do it live in the morning when I send it out, and I do, because I am up early every morning. But it's a labor of love for me, so it's all good. Homewood Health is another link on the in the slideshow that you'll find. And here you'll see there's the electronic brochure and the links to their different social media accounts, as well as an app that you can access or download onto your phone. And it's where I save all of the monthly Lifeline newsletters for you to access as well. And I could do a whole presentation on what Homewood Health has to offer. If you've not logged in or created an account, they have tons and tons of courses and things that you can access to help you along with various problems. One of the things that I did is I even connected with a registered dietitian to help with my eating. So some people didn't know that that was available, but it is. So just have a look at what they offer, because there's so many services that are available to us. So please take advantage of your benefits and tap into that if you need to. These are services that are offered through other departments, but are still relative to wellness. So Jeff Vitt is amazing, and with patients and spiritual support services. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with the PEEPS program. So it's a basically it's a peer emotional empowerment program of support. And right now it's available to certain units, not all of the units, and it's Monday to Friday, 8 to 4. They're hoping to expand the program to be available 24/7 type thing, but we're not there yet. And the mindfulness programs, so that's something that runs still every Tuesday. Jeff said that it's still happening. You have to register through Spiritual Care to get the link if it's something that you want to participate in. It's every Tuesday. And again, I'll share this this presentation, and the links will bring you to the page to get the details if you are interested in following up on that. The wellness links and videos are some, I don't know if any of you recall, but there was a series of videos that were released, different topics, different speakers, and that's the link to that as well. And then there was other different areas for wellness for the medical staff, residents, and then support for shift workers that we have in there as well as part of the Wellness for Everyone. And the amazing staff forum social committee. So it's CHEO's social committee. If you're not familiar with it, I hope that there's my co-chair, Nick. So we try to plan events to make it fun at work, to boost morale, to help staff get engaged. Unfortunately, the pandemic has limited us in terms of the activities that we have been able to plan. So we've had to cancel a lot of things that we love doing. But we're hoping that as things start to kind of open up, this week we started the farmers market. So if you haven't been, that's going to be every Wednesday now until mid-October. And again, there's an advantage for the people that work on site versus working from home, unfortunately. But like I said, we're trying to sort of do a balance of all. Then we offer fitness memberships. So Their Fitness is our own membership, which is $5 a month for staff. And then City of Ottawa and Good Life, we have some discounts with them, right, Nick? Okay.
What was your question?
I was just, the City of Ottawa and Good Life, we have a special rate for the CHEO staff, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
The information is on those links that you posted.
Yeah. So again, you'll have access to that with the presentation that I'll share afterwards. And then for those who didn't know, you can submit a sponsorship request for staff forum. So if your team is doing an activity and you want some funds to help with that activity, you can apply for up to $100 for staff forum, and there's a form that you have to complete, and it goes to staff forum for a vote as far as whether or not you would be approved. I don't think we've ever refused anyone, but it just depends on what you outline in your request. And of course, the staff lottery, which is a fun thing that if you participate in, you have a chance to win some money. And most people like to join close to Christmas, because if you participate in it, then you have to be in it for a year to get access to the larger prizes that we give out around Christmas time. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Nick. And then I wanted to point out all of the employee discounts and perks that you have access to. So Staff Forum works to try to get discounts for staff. This is the updated, I guess, sponsors or whatnot that are providing us with discounts. It's on CHEOnet. And if you are here on site, I also created a poster with a QR code so that it's always up to date in terms of what we've added. And the recent ones that we've added are Fitness Depot. Stella Luna is a fairly new one. And I'm not sure if there was another one. I know that we're going to be getting some great sponsorship from AGR soon. So stay tuned for more of that to come. And so engagement, connection, and retention. So add some fun to your meetings. Like I said earlier, try to, you can do a one-song dance break. I don't know if people are familiar with Kahoot. It's a lot of fun. You can use that in one of your meetings just for the fun of it. Sending out words of encouragement, like I mentioned earlier today. You can, use Teams even to send a kudos, or go on CHEOnet and send kudos to your team. The email can be business, but it can also be fun, and making sure that you're acknowledging and appreciating your staff and each other, and lifting each other's spirits up as much as possible. Signing up for some of the health and wellness challenges that we kind of provide. So if you're able to join, like especially when you're working from home, these are great for you, because most of the ones that I coordinate are things that you can join virtually, like the dance with Sarah Croach has been a very popular one. Hopefully we'll get to organize some more of those. And then the 80s theme workout coming up soon. And then in this link here, I put in some virtual team building ideas and in-person team building ideas. It's a website that I found. And they have a whole slew of great activities to promote employee engagement and hopefully retention of our staff. So I will share that with you afterwards. And last but not least, a reminder to include self-care as part of your daily routine. And self-care, there's 6 areas that you need to kind of address in order to stay balanced and well at work. I encourage you to do this on a regular basis, and our June Stay Well Challenge was just that, to encourage you to do that, and actually give you an incentive to win a prize if you do participate and do that activity with us. And so that's it. If you have any ideas on improving staff engagement and well-being, please make sure to email me at ceo.wellness@ceo.on.ca. And if you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to get in touch with me. I'm always happy to follow up on those ideas and suggestions. And I'm also looking to hopefully get out to meet people in person on the different units to get some one-on-one feedback in terms of what is needed out there. So thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to stop the recording now. And